President Obama tonight is going to give a State of the Union speech, and right now the State of the Union, not so strong. Usually the president starts out by saying, the State of the Union is strong! Well, according to a recent poll, he'd have to say, the State of the Union is divided! That's the leading answer in a recent poll. 37% said divided, 23% said troubled, 21% said deteriorating. None of those are good words. Okay, so he's got a tough road ahead of him. But he does have an interesting plan. One of the things he wants to do is raise the minimum wage, specifically by executive order for just federal contractors, but not the ones that already have contracts, but new ones. So if you're getting a new federal contract, he would have you follow a new law, which is that, or an executive order, I should say, which is that you would have to pay your workers a minimum of $10.10. Now, this is something that is totally within the president's power. Even John Boehner acknowledges that it is within his power, although he cries and cries about it. But when asked directly, does the president have authority to do this, given that he is the executive branch and he can dictate to people that the basis under which they can get contracts from the executive branch? And Boehner says yes, he does have that power. Okay. Now, that doesn't stop Boehner from then saying, quote, we're just not going to sit here and let the president trample all over us. Yeah, I know. He's been running roughshod over you Republicans, you poor guys, you poor devils. All right, and then he goes on to say, this idea that he's just going to go it alone, I have to remind him, we do have a Constitution, and the Congress writes the laws, and the president's job is to execute the laws faithfully. If he tries to ignore this, he's going to run into a brick wall. All right, Mr. Boehner, I have news for you. He's already run into a brick wall, and that's called the House Republicans. Now let me show you a set of numbers that shows you what the actual brick wall is. This is the number of filibusters on executive nominees. I love this chart because, as you can see, well, before the modern era, in fact, before Bill Clinton, there's almost none. And then the Republicans in their ire against Clinton go up all the way to 9 filibusters of executive nominees, and you can see the numbers at the bottom there. Under Obama, 27, and then 45, okay? So that would be a brick wall, my friends. That's the brick wall he ran into, but I'm not done yet. Oh, look at that tiny, tiny, tiny number at the bottom there. So we got a lot of bills through a lot of different Congresses, but when it gets to Obama's term, all of a sudden the Republicans stop passing everything. They grind everything to a halt. That would be your brick wall. All right, how about successful judicial nominations since 1976? You've got, plenty by Carter, Reagan, Clinton, etc. Oh, look at Obama at the bottom there, 41, as opposed to 98 for Clinton, 80 for Reagan. That would be your obstructionist brick wall, okay? And it's exactly why the president has to go to this minimum wage issue by executive order, because they won't pass anything in Congress. They won't pass a damn thing. Now, Boehner continues nonetheless. He says, let's understand something. This affects not one current contract. It only affects future contracts with the federal government. So I think the question is, how many people, Mr. President, will this executive action actually help? Now, wait a minute. I thought you said that this was a huge problem. Now you're turning around and saying it's not a problem at all. So which one is it? But it's typical of the Republicans. I hate Obama. That's my answer. I forgot the question. I don't care what the question is. I hate Obama. I hate Obama for passing this minimum wage by executive order, and I hate him because it doesn't do anything. It does too much, it does too little. Then we go to Steve King, and he's going to, of course, start talking about actions that need to be taken to make sure that President Obama is stopped. He's on with Cuomo on CNN. Let's watch.
This is the president who is a former adjunct professor of teaching constitutional law at the University of Chicago. He knows better. And he gave a speech at a high school here in Washington, D.C. a couple of years ago that made it clear to them that he knows better. He has limitations. He's Article 1. He's the executive branch of government. His job is to keep his oath of office.
Well, are you saying that his using an executive order to extend to federal contract workers is an abuse of power?
I think that it's a constitutional violation. We have a minimum wage. Congress has set it. For the president to simply declare, I'm going to change this law that Congress has passed, is unconstitutional.
That's actually not at all true. Steve King doesn't know a thing about the Constitution. Now, Obama had a whole host of constitutional issues. I also think it's a joke that he was a constitutional law professor, mainly in our abuse of civil liberties. The Fourth, the Fifth Amendments, he's run roughshod over. But in this case, he has every authority in the world, which again, even Boehner acknowledges, to pass an executive order saying, if you're going to get a contract with the federal government, I run the executive branch. Here are the different rules you must abide by to get that contract. This is not at all a constitutional issue, but Steve King is not that bright, and he takes every opportunity to pretend that he stands for the Constitution when he does the exact opposite. Here's more from this moron.
How invested are you in this, Representative? Because if he really is abusing his constitutional powers, some would say that's grounds for action against the president, maybe even an impeachable offense. Is that what you're saying?
You know, I've stayed away from that word, although it does come to me out in the streets of America consistently. I think instead this Congress should lay out the violations that the president's had, and they many. It goes through the immigration piece, No Child Left Behind, welfare to work. Many of those components, Obamacare itself is probably the clearest one.
Impeach because he passed the law? Well, he passed a law we didn't really like. I mean, it covers more Americans, gives them health insurance. The word keeps coming to me, impeachment. Gee, I don't know where it comes from. These guys have been dying to impeach him from day one. So they just make up anything they like. If they wanted to impeach him based on abuse of the Fourth Amendment, that might be an interesting issue. But they love that abuse of the Fourth Amendment, so they don't want to do that. National security letters that says the FBI on their own, without going to a judge, can just look at all your files, your business records, your health records, etc. It's a gross violation of the Fourth Amendment. But the Republicans are the ones who passed it in the first place. So now they turn to, oh my God, I can't believe he's going to raise the minimum wage for a tiny amount of people. In fact, John Boehner says for almost no one. Okay, back to Boehner for a second. He talked about that brick wall and that if he wants to work, he has to work with us. Who's working, jackass? Not you guys. You ready for this? We've shared this with you before. It's an amazing fact. On the 113th Congress's 2013 calendar, there was 126 working days. They had 239 days off. Who's working? If he wanted to work with you, where would he find you? You're on vacation. All right, and finally, all this stuff is, of course, enraging and, of course, makes your blood boil and want to fight back, unless, of course, you work for the Obama administration. When faced with all this, they sent out a top White House advisor, Valerie Jarrett, and she said the president's proposal was, quote, not intended to be provocative. Here's what I would say. Yeah, it was intended to be provocative. I'm going to raise it to $10.10. You say one more word about it, and it's not going to exist for just old federal contracts. It's also, new ones. It's also going to exist for the old ones. I'm going to change it tomorrow. Say another word. Go ahead. Okay? And then I'm going to go up there, and I was going to try to raise the minimum wage overall in the country to $9. Nah, I changed my mind. I'm going to make it $10.10. And then I'm going to put that up there, and I know it's incredibly popular, and I know you're going to vote against it. Go ahead. Go ahead. I dare you. Vote against it. Say to the hardworking Americans who are busting their ass, who have a job, No, I'm not going to pay you more. Because, what? You're part of the 47% who are bums and leech off the government? No, but they're not. They work, and they deserve a decent wage. You want to make that argument, Republicans? Have at it, Hoss. And I'm going to kick your ass. And yes, I intend to be provocative. But that's not the president we have. So the change we got is the very usual President Obama 5% change. For future contracts, the minimum wage will be raised for just those tiny little bit of employees. And the response we got is the typical Republican response. Oh my God, unconstitutional impeachment. Oh my God, socialist Maoist Obama has burned the house down. If they're going to say that anyway, you might as well actually go after them and try to do something for the American people.